afternoon, friends. Stephen Benoon here with Israeli News Live on our Patreon channel. And again, we're still holding strong on the marathon week there. And luckily, I was afraid when I got up this morning, I was in a lot of pain from the fall I took yesterday. And you kind of have to imagine it. And I really expected to be black and blue when I woke up this morning. I was about, well, it's 3 railroad ties high. I've got a driveway that backs up in front of the house there, and it's 3 railroad ties high. And I had tripped on the top tie, and when I tripped, I fell over the top of that, and I have these big giant stones from the mountain as a sidewalk. And my face landed the whole left side, my head, my cheek, nose, etc. hit that side there, and that hurt the most. But this morning, I've got a little bit of swelling on the left side here, but even that's kind of gone down since this morning. I put DMSO and magnesium on there last night, so I think that probably helped a lot. I even put an X39 patch on there, believe it or not. And an Eon patch. Eon deals with the inflammation, so I figured if I could control that inflammation, that would make it a heck of a lot better. And luckily it has. There is a significant amount of pain in my face, though. I guess maybe bruising the bone or something like that. That's probably why I have the swelling there. Feels a little funny in my left eye, but other than that, everything's fine. And so I wanted to get into weather manipulation. And typically when we see pictures of HAARP, that's the first thing that comes to people's minds. But, you know, Deborah, she really, when I had her on the other day and we did that broadcast with Deborah Tavares, that was really eye-opening because she shared several patents with me. So I began to do a little research on this. And on the patents that she shared with me, this one here specifically, for example, US 2003 0085296A1. This was submitted here by Andrew Wachmansky from Chipley, Florida, which is kind of interesting. I know right where Chipley, Florida is. Not many people would, but I do. It's up there. It's in between Tallahassee and Pensacola, Florida there, in a little bitty backwoods town there. But I didn't even notice that till just now. But anyway, this system here is to affect the clouds. It is to basically to use, I think it's microwave technology there to be able to control and to manipulate and move storms. Now, ideally, of course, the purpose of the invention is supposed to be to slow storms down or direct a storm out of the, like if it's a hurricane, to move it from harming people to a safer location. And maybe that's what happened to some of these hurricanes that were coming up towards the coastline of the United States, and then the next thing you know, they seem to redirect out over the Atlantic Ocean instead. Now, there is supposedly a treaty to where they're not supposed to have anything to do with this, but let's face it, who knows, right? Here we have right here in the very beginning, the present invention generally relates to a method of weather control. That's exactly what it says, weather control. More specifically, the present invention is drawn to a method of employing high decibel sound waves to affect the formation of weather system. Now, it's a lot different than HAARP. HAARP is using I think it's a radioactive some kind of magnification type thing there that affects the Earth's crust and everything. That's why they believe it affects not just storms and tornadoes and hurricanes, but HAARP, they believe, can even affect earthquakes, things like that on the Earth, right? So, ferocious winds and rains of tornadoes and hurricanes account for the loss of many lives and billions of dollars annually. Names such as Hugo and Andrew have become legendary when people talk about the destruction caused by Mother Nature. So the intent of this invention is to change the direction of these storms. Even though there is a treaty that the U.S. entered into to steer these away, but nonetheless, this is what these are for. Here in 18, according to its principal object of the invention to provide a process for affecting the formation of low atmospheric weather systems. It is another object of the invention to provide a process to alter the direction of weather systems, which may produce hurricanes and tornadoes. Now, I did a little research on that issue there, and my research was to find out if it can alter the storm's direction, say to help protect human life, which is the intent of the inventor. What about governments that would like to use it for other means? Military means, perhaps, or just an agenda that they may have in the first place, a depopulation agenda, etc. Then yes, the answer was yes. If it can be used to manipulate or turn or steer a storm or hurricane or tornado, then yes, it could actually turn or steer a tornado, hurricane, whatever the case may be, into a direction of their more favorable intent. So that is something that it can do. So looking at that, I also took, as Deborah shared with us, she had me I actually pulled this up when she was doing the broadcast. She was talking about it. The Geoengineering Monitor on this website right here, it said, Ponte, a former specialist for the International Research and Technology Corps, said that the CIA and the Pentagon seeded clouds and winds currents that they carry rains to Cuba. Between 1966 and 1972, the CIA and the later Pentagon were using cloud seeding to make enemy trails muddy in Southeast Asia. Ponte said in an interview for National Public Radio. That's on NPR. But that's all the way back in 1972. This particular invention, though, was actually done in 2003. But it gets even more interesting, right? Then we have deliberate weather modification. I found this article here. Said here that inadvertent weather modification, including increases or decreases of precipitation downwind from large industrial sites and fog formation, creates problems in some locales. Scientific attempts to deliberately modify weather activity and conditions have been pursued since World War II. The most popular techniques involve cloud seeding, the injection of cloud nucleating particles into likely clouds to alter physics and chemistry and condensation. Proponents of this technique claim that it may enhance the precipitation amounts of 5 to 20%. Going down to the green here, the United States signed the resolution but has continued to defense research on operational weather modification in battlefield situations, as summarized in reports like U.S. Air Force position paper Weather as Force Multiplier, Owning the Weather in 2025, a report published in 1996. Okay, keeping in mind, though, this invention by the guy from Chipley, Florida, though, it's not cloud seeding. This guy is able to literally move those hurricanes and storms using this radio wave techniques here. He can literally move them, control it completely. This is not a matter of seeding and clouding. This is literally making it go somewhere else, right? Well, the article that I just read you, though, talks about owning the weather in 2025. So I actually pulled that up. Here it is right here. Weather as a Force Multiplier, Owning the Weather in 2025. This was the United States Air Force. They had brought this up, and it goes into some very interesting information in here. 2025, the U.S. Aerospace Force can own the weather by capitalizing on emerging technologies and focus and develop of those technologies to war-fighting applications, such as offers the war fighter tools to shape the battle space in ways never before possible. It provides opportunities to impact operations across full spectrum of conflict, and it's pertinent to all possible futures. The purpose of this paper is to outline strategy for the use of future weather modification systems to achieve military objectives rather than provide a detailed technical roadmap. Okay, so the United States military definitely already deep into this, but of course Russia and China are as well. And what's really fascinating is when they talk about 2025. There is that little document out there about population declining in 2025, if you remember that one, right? I'm not saying this is what's going to happen this year, but we do see steady declines from all the wars going on, especially those genocidal wars where they just seem to have no end in sight. And now they're getting even worse. Now the United States fixing to go into war, which if you go to Israeli News Live, our latest news broadcast, we'll be talking about that there. But I just found this one here. China to forge ahead with a weather modification service, right? The State Council issued a circular on December the 2nd laying out measures for quality development weather modification. According to the document, China will have a development weather modification system by 2025. This was done December 2nd, 2020. 4 years after, I guess, they discovered the U.S.'s information, right? With breakthroughs in fundamental research and R&D and key technologies, steady improvements in modernization and refined services, distinct enhancement and comprehension prevention against safety risk, and optimization in system and policy environment, the total area of artificial rainfall snowfall operation will reach beyond 5.5 million square kilometers. And for hail suppression, it could go beyond 580,000 square kilometers. By 2035, China's weather modification should arrive at a worldwide advanced level in terms of operation, technologies, and services, and the circular said. So, what if China, just like America, decides to deploy theirs for military purposes? By 2035, they claim they could control the entire world's weather. Already, by the year we're in now, they're able to control 580,000 square kilometers, 5.5 million square kilometers also. So I did a little research as well. If China, Russia, and the United States all have that ability, like the guy in Chipley, Florida, developed his technique using radio waves to manipulate storms and hurricanes, what if suddenly more than one country at the same time is trying to manipulate a particular storm? Theoretically, what could happen? Well, theoretically, I found out that most likely the storm will intensify much greater than anticipated, just from the fact that two different countries are using the same type of frequencies to control the storm. Said not only would the storm become very erratic, but that also the intensification of the storm would become far greater because of the manipulation of the storm from two different directions at the same time. Where are we at? We are in 2025. I'm really curious to see what type of hurricane season will be this year. We've already seen some pretty wild storms just crossing the United States already, with some serious tornadoes that have caused some very serious loss of life and damage early on. And we haven't even got to the spring of the year when tornadoes are really bad. What if, besides the United States, another country is helping to control our weather system here? Keep in mind, when they tell you here, China says by 2035, they're going to control worldwide weather systems. That's normally about 10 years off. I would imagine they've got that capability, just like the United States with HAARP and other technologies that they have, to control it now. The weather wars are no doubt happening now. I'm Steve Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live on our Patreon channel. Thank you, and thank you for your support.